From the top rope to your collection, this collecting the 1, 2, 3 presented by Cardboard Dugout. I'm your host, Moon 3PO, and this is my tag team partner, Bropio, coming through with a Saturday night's main event reaction. But before we get into that, Bropio, how you doing?
Oh, doing pretty good. Just enjoying the night. Still reeling in the effects of the travesty and the situation that went down at Saturday night's main event. But other than that, man, can't complain.
Yes, it's been a very wild and emotional 48 hours, and we're going to talk all about it here. I'm excited for this because we really didn't. For those that don't know, like the reason why we don't do like live reactions, or specifically me, why I don't do like live reaction at PLEs, because we always get together for the PLEs and we watch them together. So it's obviously not going to not be a part of that and just be in my room and react to a PLE by myself. So we watch them together, and then usually, I come home, then I do a quick little reaction video if it's definitely warranted. We didn't really talk about it in person. Usually we do, and then we come over here and then we talk about it so the whole universe can hear. But this one here, we really didn't. Like, we watched it, we kind of sunk it in a little bit, and then we had a couple of more libations, and then we went our way, which is very unusual for us. And I think it's because
Yeah.
like the whole moment in general was very shocking. But obviously, we're not just going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the whole card in general. Very, very exciting card. Very, very fun and very, very much enjoyable. Obviously, we'll talk about the main event here. It'll kind of be a very open therapy session. And then we'll talk about Monday Night Raw. We are recording this Monday night. More than likely, you are hearing this on Wednesday morning. So a little bit of a delay there. But we were going to be reacting to Monday Night Raw. Typically, don't react to Monday Night Raw too much. We're not a really reactionary, but we did have some key takeaways here for this Monday Night Raw, so we will talk about that. And then we do got a little bit of card talk. We do got a new set date here for Universal. We'll kind of talk about that. Kind of set some expectations for that. We also did have some Tops Now cards that dropped. Obviously, those cards have kind of gone by the time we're listening to this, but those cards did go out as well. So we'll talk about that. And then we'll obviously head into some final thoughts here. We got a couple of mail days in, so maybe talk about that a little bit. And then I got an announcement here, so we'll talk about as much as I can pertaining to that. But let's head into Saturday night's main event. Overall, of course, I like to give my star ratings here. I would say it's 3.5, pushing a 4. Overall, all very good matches. Again, we could talk about the finishes all we want. I feel like with every match that was on that card, there was a but in between those matches. Like, there's something, that's just me just being nitpicky, but like there's a little bit of something that you can draw away from each one that kind of maybe takes away a star or takes away from it being a potential 5-star PLE. But yeah, overall, a very, very solid card. It did what it was supposed to do. This NXT exhibition that we kind of talked about here, kind of promote and showcase who is up and coming, who WWE has their eyes on, and who I think WWE fans need to keep an eye on here moving forward as they're watching the product as we head into a John Cena non-existent era, I guess I should say here. But yeah, I'm saying like at a 3.54. Again, we didn't really talk about it here in person. So I'm curious to get your thoughts here. I know you kind of give you like the letter grade, so I'll throw it over to you. What will be your letter grade or your rating of Saturday night's main event?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much spot on. With you, I was giving it like a 3.5. So I would think that's probably maybe like what a B,
Like a
a
B,
B
like a
minus maybe.
B.
Yeah, I mean, I think it did, like, pretty much like you said, just echoing it, like, it pretty much hit all the points I think it was supposed to when it came to, like, showcasing the NXT stars. Cody and Oba was probably a little bit too short for me, to be honest, but in that short time, you saw how dominant and how much of a powerhouse, Oba is, even, like, busting open, like, Cody Rhodes a little bit. Um, so Ruka and Bailey was fun. We obviously like I know a big point was probably going to be like her finishing move, and I know sometimes their finishing move like looks a little funky, depending on who's taking it. Or like I know there was that one instance I think a couple weeks ago when JC Jane took it, like JC Jane just kind of like just threw herself
Third
like
head, yeah.
down. So, um, but the way Bailey took it, and I think just the whole sequence that Bailey took it looked pretty awesome. Um, I think the tag team match was probably like the highlight of that card too, because like Leon Slater and Javon Evans are just they're crazy, they're young, they're athletic, and even from the get go, the beginning of the match, like they just like went all guns blazing. So it was a fun match. So, yeah, I mean, I think it did what it was supposed to do.
Yeah, you know that they were 100%. The Obafemi and Cody Rhodes match, very fun match. I surprised at opening it. I think when we recorded, I thought the Leon Slater and the Javon Evans and Dragon Lee and AJ Styles would have opened the match. Or kind of went the way that we thought, like very fast paced, kind of get the crowd moving a little bit. I thought that was the route they would have gone, but they decided to go with the Obafemi and Cody Rhodes, which wasn't a bad way to start the card here. The amount of aura that Obafemi has here, and it definitely translated because the way I was like, my way my brain works is like, okay, did someone do something and translate to cards when I had a whatnot show on Sunday, and ironically enough, a lot of people asking about Obafemi. Obafemi, do you have Obafemi this, Obafemi that? Luckily enough, I did have some Obafemi stuff, so was able to get some cards moving for him. But yeah, I always find that very interesting. So, and his stuff there, I think, in my opinion, is still very undervalued there. But yeah, did what's supposed to do. You bust open his ear, and we called it there on the funky finish here with the Drew McIntyre, that no shenanigans. Because I'm always in the old school route here, where if unless it's a champion versus champion match, like we see at Night of Champions or whatever pay per view that it is now. Like I believe your main champion, your main superstar should be getting pinned by someone else. That's just my old school style of thinking. So protecting Cody,
Protecting your champ.
yeah, protecting your champ, exactly. And you're protecting both of them essentially. You're not having Oba eat a pin here, making him look weak as he goes back down to NXT for how long he's going to be down there. And then we're also protecting Cody, not eating a pin from someone who's technically in developmental, if you want to call it that. But I don't even treat NXT as the developmental brand. I can't speak today, but yeah, overall, very fun match here, and obviously the Drew McIntyre shenanigans getting involved in that. So I think the butt in that match obviously was the finish. Would have liked some sort of finish if that's Cody being pinned, or if that's Oba, maybe even a double count on. Who knows? But yeah, I think again it's the finish. That one, the women's match here between Sol Ruka and Bailey, nailed it there once again. Did what it's supposed to do. Had there's a little awkward moments. There's a couple of moments in between the match where it kind of got a little bit awkward. They took a little bit to recover, but they did. Which again, like we talked about in the last podcast, Bailey's kind of in that area where she recognizes where she's at on the roster. And I think again, we've got to tip her cap out to Bailey because she's had like such a, I don't want to say a rocky year, but such an up and down year. Like we had the persona, the split persona, which I don't know what they're really doing with that. It seems like they're kind of teetered away from a little bit. There's signs here and there where they'll hint at it, but it hasn't really been the way it was in the beginning.
Yeah.
Being left off WrestleMania, we kind of know how that went. So she's had a very up and down year. Went down to NXT, ate a couple of losses there. We talked about that, losing to Roxanne Perez, losing to Cora Jade. So we kind of talked about that a little bit. So you could kind of say she's had a very up and down year, but recognizing, what she needs to do. So putting over Sol Ruka again was very, very well done. Showcasing Sol Ruka as well, what she does in the ring, her acrobatics and things like that. Her moveset, I know I've watched Sol Ruka wrestle, 100 times, NXT, the PLEs, all that stuff, but every time she's in the ring, there's always something that amazes me with her. Like, I don't know what it is. It's probably the acrobatics of the high flying stuff. Like, we really don't see that style of wrestling from the women's side. So to see someone do it like that and do it very well and execute it very well, it's very, very impressive. So there's a reason why WWE has, put this rocket on her and, taking her to the moon and even protect her down to NXT. Because like we talked about, she didn't lose the belt. She never lost her 2 championships. She vacated the Speed Championship, and then Zarya lost on her perhaps on the North American against Blake Monroe. So what's a way to get her and protect her to lose 2 belts? You technically never freaking lose them. So I think it obviously shows, because of that. So when Zarya and so we'll get the call here. I'm hoping they stay at the tag team. I'm really hoping they do, just for the sake of the women's division and stuff like that. I think to kind of see on SmackDown a little bit. So for the sake of WWE, I would hope they keep them on the tag team, but it seems like they're eventually going to head to that Zarya and Sol Ruka spot. But time will tell on that. And then again, the other tag team match here, the Leon Slater and Javon Evans versus AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. Again, did what it's supposed to do. Very fast paced. Was nice seeing the first X Division champion going against the current X Division champion. That was very fun. I'm curious to get Leon Slater's contract status there, because obviously like WWE has like high praise for him. Like he's been involved in like almost NXT every PLE. There's a reason why they wanted him involved on the, this is the WWE considered PLE. So I'm curious to see what his contract situation looks like and see if it'll be like a Joe Hendry type situation where he just slowly just transitions to WWE. But
Yeah.
time will tell what
That'll
that.
be an uproar in the streets if that happens, if and when it happens.
Yeah, exactly. because there's always been that talk where it seems like WWE is benefiting more from this TNA deal, but I
And
don't know.
TNA
But
got that
TNA's got a
TV
TV
deal.
deal. Yeah, they got a TV
Yeah.
deal now. So I mean, hey, you can say what you want about talent being used, whatever the case may be. But the fact that TNA now has what are they on? They're going to be on AMC, right?
AMC. Yeah.
AMC starting next year, I believe January 15th or January 20th. Don't quote me on that. Um, so that's going to be fun on Thursdays, right? Yeah, Thursdays.
That I don't know. Yeah.
I think it might be
I think
Thursday
they're
because
on Thursdays right now. Yeah.
yeah, because it'll be Monday Night Raw, NXT Tuesdays, AEW Wednesdays, TNA
TNA
Thursdays,
Thursdays,
Friday Night
Friday Night
SmackDown
SmackDown.
Fridays, and then if you're a Collision sicko, you got Collision on Saturday.
Yeah, you gotta
So
be sick to be watching Collision. Jeez.
you gotta you gotta have the sniffles to be
Oh,
you gotta be having more than the sniffles if you're watching AEW on a Saturday. But yeah, again, the butt in that one there was obviously the ending with that one with AJ Styles slipping. Obviously, not his fault, but had that little boss there. But Leon Slater, definitely a pro. Like not just like standing there, like kind of looking at him, like oh shit, like you're gonna get back up. Like goes for the pin. So
yeah.
that's a pro move right there, and just move straight along there. So that was a good little recovery there from them. And then in between that, we did have the Joe Hendry and the Miz interference with R-Truth, which that was a fun little moment before we get to the main event. Obviously, Joe Hendry has kind of talked about how, influential John Cena has had on his career. And, I know his thing during this course of the year was, he wanted to have a match with John Cena. Didn't think obviously it was going to happen, but to still be evolved some sort of way with John Cena's, retirement match, retirement PLE, I think kind of shows how much of a fan John Cena is of Joe Hendry. I'm pretty sure John Cena had his hands on different things, and we'll talk about that in a couple of short minutes here. And it kind of also once again shows WWE's faith in Joe Hendry and the movement the Joe Hendry movement has. So it's fun seeing that. Obviously, R-Truth being involved in it as well. With the jokes of stealing my balls and things like that. And it was nice seeing Miz too. Obviously, it's been a big part of the Miz as well, kind of talking about how he wasn't involved in the the last time is now tournament, or the lack of disrespect he's gotten on this tour during this retirement tour. Fans clamoring to face like CM Punk, AJ Styles, Randy Orton. He wasn't really on that list, so kind of going towards a disrespect there. It was a nice touch too that he was wearing the WrestleMania gear. Thought that was pretty cool. The brown jacket there, so I thought that was a nice little touch there. But yeah, overall, all those moments there, very very fun, very very enjoyable. I definitely did enjoy it here. But now let's head into it. The main event: John Cena versus Gunther. I guess we'll try to go from beginning to finish, from entrances to to the ending here. Was nice seeing all the legends on ringside. I thought there would have been a little bit more, if I'm
Yep.
being completely honest, but there was only like a handful. We saw Eve Torres, we saw Trish Stratus, we saw Elias or Ezekiel, depending on if you're asking Kevin Owens. We did see Kevin Owens. We
Like
saw
Kurt
Kurt
Angle was
Angle, we saw
there.
RVD,
Mark Henry.
Booker T, Mark
RVD.
Henry.
Yeah.
So it was about Sami Zayn was ringside with his
Yeah.
son. So
That was
yeah,
funny. Just
I wouldn't really count him as a guest, but technically we had like 8 superstars, give or take, as far as a guest wise. So thought there would have been a little bit more. I'm pretty sure there was probably maybe some schedule conflict, things like that. Obviously, some other superstars are involved in other companies, so maybe that was a little bit of a case there. I don't know, but yeah, I thought we would have saw a little bit more of the legends there. But it was nice seeing Kurt Angle. Obviously, the storytelling there of that being John Cena's first match. RVD, the 2006 ECW. Don't need to talk about that. Kevin Owens being a big part of Kevin Owens call up. So the Elias one, I didn't realize. Elias, I don't know if that's his real. Don't think that's his real name, but Elias put out an Instagram post. They did have a little bit. I didn't remember. Totally forgot the little bit of the history that they had. That's when John Cena came out at WrestleMania. That's the Dr. Thugonomics again. When he did all that.
oh, that's right.
When he
Yeah.
came out in the New York Yankee jacket, then
Yeah.
the jerseys that was involved with that. So they've had their little bit of a run-ins there. So I remember we were talking about, like, I'm surprised that he's there. I know obviously he's involved with TNA as well, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, like I'm surprised like we didn't see like Zack Ryder in the crowd. Like thought that would have been like a no-brainer. Dolph Ziggler, guys that were maybe involved in the tournament, would have made
Yeah.
sense, but it is what it is on that aspect. And going off to Gunther here, fighting with people. Oh, did you see the video of Gunther like yelling at that kid, or like that kid like yelling at him?
Yeah, yeah. I thought that was pretty funny.
Oh, that's pretty. That was pretty hilarious there. But now heading on to the match itself, the match was man, it's tough to talk about it. A little bit slow paced. Obviously, we knew it was going to kind of go that route. It wasn't really shocking. I think the match itself was good. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad. So I from the overall match itself aspect, I would give it like again like going through the star rating there like a 3.53. Like it wasn't good. It wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't bad. It wasn't great. Like star stealing or whatever the case may be. Obviously, it had some high spots there. The table spot was a nice little spot. Obviously, we had Cena teasing it there. The when he was about to pass on, did the little three finger here. That was kind of cool. That was pretty cool. We saw the Super AA. That was fun to see as well. But obviously, before we get into the finish here, what did you think about the overall match itself, leading up to the entrances, the legends that we saw? What did we think about all that before we get into the eventual finish here?
Yeah, I think the match, like the style and how they went about, like I think that was pretty much how I expected it to go. I know Gunther catches a lot of like attention from some people because they say he's too boring and blah blah blah, but that's just his style of wrestling. He has like that
Old school
hard,
wrestling.
yeah, he has like that hard hitting. Um, I was telling the wife he kind of gives me like Fritz von Erich's kind of like vibes. Like he's just like that hard hitting kind of guy. Granted, I wasn't watching Fritz von Erich, but from the videos that I've seen and stuff like that, like it just kind of fits like that kind of style, like that Harley Race too kind of style. Um, so I knew going into it that's kind of how it was going to be. I mean, I didn't mind it. I think I even made a joke at one point. Like I think like Cena hit like 4 or 5 like AAs, and I was like, "Damn, am I watching AEW with all these damn kickouts?" Like,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I mean, I think it was fine. Was the I don't say it was probably not the just strictly like just from retirement tour wise. It probably wasn't his best one, John Cena wise. But it was one of like on the better end of it. I guess if that's like sounds kind of confusing, but yeah, that's how I'd put it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100% here, and that's a perfect lead way to the ending here of the finish that we got. So if you guys listened to the last episode, you guys know what we wanted. I We're basically on the same boat here. We basically wanted to see kind of what we kind of were seeing towards the end, where Cena is getting choked out. He's looking like he's gonna fade away. Again, I hinted at the moment here where he's doing the arm thing and then he does the hand gesture there, and then does the AA, kind of rests a little bit, and then Gunther just once again gets back on him again, and then slowly face starts fading away. Uh Gets him once again the chokehold. Cena is looking like he's about to break out, and then kind of starts slowly fading away again. He smiles, and then he proceeds to tap, and then everything just went silent. The whole arena went silent. Our house went silent. Like we didn't know like how to react. Like again, we wanted Cena to win. That was very evident. Um, but seeing him tap out like that and the smile before the tap out, like that was just like I'm still like lost for words for it. It's crazy. Um, and yeah, I don't know. It's still like I still struggle to find the word. I even tried making a TikTok about it, and I still struggle to find the words. Again, the fan, I can't speak for you, so I'll speak for me, and I'll throw it over to you. The fan in me definitely wanted John Cena to win. I think we all wanted to celebrate John Cena one more time. Like I think that's all what we wanted to do, right? Especially how up and down this retirement tour was. We really didn't get to celebrate Cena because half part of it was him being a bad guy, and then the later half was him being a good guy. So we really couldn't celebrate him for the full tour itself. And I think that was also hard about the heel turn was like he was a bad guy, quote unquote, a bad guy. We want to boo the shit out of him, but at the same time, we want to cheer him. And I think that was so difficult about the heel turn itself. Again, shocking itself. That will always be a top 5 shocking moment in wrestling for sure. But the heel run, you can, obviously make the argument that wasn't the best executed. So I think as a fan itself, we just wanted to celebrate him one more time. But the ending, having Gunther win from, I think if you want to look at it from a company perspective, a booking perspective, putting someone over Like it's not a bad decision. Again, you can go back and forth on how he should have lost. Should he ate the pin? Should he have passed out? Should he have tapped out? You know, that's always going to be up for debate. Everybody's going to have be open to their own opinion. Um, I think it was one of those things where now that I sit back, it's funny. I went to bed. Went to bed, woke up, and I looked over to Mr. With 3P. I was like, I don't hate the finish. I don't hate it. That's the first thing I said when I woke up. And I think just looking at it and just looking at different perspectives, like it's kind of what I referenced in my TikTok, like what we've seen from John Cena talk about, or what he said at like the later half of the tour, when he gives his heart to the crowd, like he's like, that's all I got, like that's all I have, like this is it. Um, and I think the video package that they did today on Raw kind of hinted at it, where they had him in the chokehold, and then the video package just flashbacks all of the Cena moments, like his whole career, and then he proceeds to tap. Like that to me was kind of like signifying was that like Cena gave everything, like he gave it his all, like that was it. And him tapping out was not necessarily giving up on the universe or just giving up necessarily. I guess again, it shows that it signifies that, but I think it's just him just giving up. Like I have nothing else to give anymore. Like there's nothing else for me to do. There's nothing else for me to do that I can beat Gunther if you want to talk about it in that aspect. Like there's nothing for me to do anymore. And there's a perfect tweet that I saw. You might like this reference. Not too sure if you saw it. It was referencing to the Star Wars Episode 4 New Hope, where Darth Vader strikes Obi-Wan. Like Obi-Wan knows he's gonna lose. Like he can't do anything to beat him, and he kind of just puts a lightsaber to him. He smiles, and Darth Vader, attempts to swipe at him. That's the reference I see being a lot thrown around, and I like that reference. I think that kind of signifies that. But yeah, and I know I got emotional a little bit. Got more emotional about the freaking video package they did a couple of days ago, but I think we didn't get too emotional in that moment, just because I think it was still just very shocking, because again, it was supposed to be in my eyes celebrating Cena, but I feel like we were really just mourning him, and I feel like we're still doing that a little bit in a weird way. Like I feel like we're still mourning like the loss, like he's freaking dead. He's not dead, but yeah, he's still going to be around in an ambassador role, but like I feel like this, I wanted the event to be celebrating Cena, and it wasn't. It felt like we were mourning him, and I think that's my biggest takeaway. I'm not mad about the finish. I think it went the way that you could have gone, and obviously we'll talk about Monday Night Raw. Kind of leads into that, but yeah, as a fan, I want to celebrate him, and I feel like we're still not doing that. I feel like this is like a morning session, a therapy session, and I feel like I wish we would have came back and talk about something different, but we're not. So
Yeah.
so I think that's my big takeaway. Maybe I'm missing some things here. Maybe as you speak, and maybe it'll trigger something in my brain. But yeah, that's my main takeaway from all of this. Like this again, long story short, I feel like we're mourning him and we're not celebrating him.
Yeah, I mean, I totally I get where you're coming from, and I feel you. I think because I mean, there's two ways like responding to this. Like first as a fan, like I obviously don't like the outcome of this. I would have preferred for him to go out on top. Um, and I think what makes it even harder is like people were so shocked and so mad at the actual outcome that like when like Punk and Cody were coming into the ring, like you could hear boos in the crowd, and I think that's what's taken away from it too.
Yeah.
And then like they show Triple H, and then it gets even louder. So like, and
Yeah.
you should see Triple H like just smiling and stuff like that. And I think he even tells you, I think he tells him like, "Thank you, my friend," or something like that. And so like, I think that's what makes it a little bit harder too. Is like he's in the middle of the ring, and then like they're booing, and they're not booing Cena, but they're just booing literally what just happened. And then as soon as like you hear the boos, like they cut off, and then that's when it goes to the tribute video. Um, and obviously you're not hearing the crowd reactions to it. You're kind of just hearing the music, and you're watching the video tribute. And they have like John Cena's reaction on the side, and you can tell it's getting to him emotionally because it looks like he's choking up and tearing up a little bit. So by the time that they're done with the video, they cut back to him, and now like the crowd is finally cheering. But at that point, like maybe like what 5, 6 minutes, 7 minutes already have passed by, maybe more or less. And every time they show Triple H in the damn ring, like they're fucking booing. So that's what made it hard from like a fan's, from my point of view. Like it made it
Yeah.
hard, and it kind of like dampers the moment a little bit because like you're saying, we're supposed to be celebrating Cena, but at the same time, like everybody's so caught up in an uproar of Gunther winning. And I think what probably makes it is how he won, him tapping out. But I knew as soon as I saw that big grin he's legit, I was like, oh no, he's gonna tap. And Like, and I think the way he taps too, like he's not like tap tap tapping. He's just kind of just like a like just like a soft tap. And I've seen like people like also tweet about like that wasn't him like him giving up like his mental persona that he has, but necessarily like I pretty much this is all I've got and I've given you my all and like my body literally cannot go no more. So it's just like a soft tap. I think even when he rolled over, he did look a little bit emotional too. Like if you look at his face when he rolls over, like it looks like he kind of like choked up and then he face goes back to normal. But excuse me. But from the other standpoint, which is kind of like the business standpoint, I think this is where everybody's kind of like I haven't really read into too many reactions. Just I've seen a couple here and there on Twitter. I know there's a lot of videos out there on YouTube. I've yet to watch them yet, just because I was like, man, I still don't know how I feel about it. And this is actually the first time I've actually even talking about it. Like even when it happened, I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna tweet about it or anything. Like I can't talk right now. I'm too emotional. Um, but I think from the business standpoint, like this is I think probably what you would expect. At, like in wrestling, like when wrestlers leave, like they don't win. Like it's just the way it goes. And um like you just look at everybody's retirements, like they always lose. I know the big one that's coming up now for discussion is Sting's retirement
Sting.
tour.
Yeah,
And
which we
they
were a
wanted
part of. We
like
saw that. Yeah.
we did, yeah. And like I think Sting went like undefeated on his whole retirement tour and stuff
Mhm.
like that. And I know John Cena's like whole spiel is like always like he wanted to leave the business in a better place than when he came in. And if you want to like put the same thing in for Sting, like did Sting winning like going undefeated and Sting winning his last match, like did that do anything for AEW? Like are they in a better spot then? You can make the case that they're not. Like they're still struggling with attendance, they're struggling with storylines. Um, it didn't help Darby. Like as soon as they won that match, they had to vacate the tag team titles, and then Darby went to go freaking climb Mount Everest. Like like that it'd have been different. Like had Darby like got a little bit like went more over and won the title, which I think was originally. I always hear rumors that that was supposed to happen. Like he was supposed to be the one to dethrone John Moxley. Um, I mean, you can say the same thing for the Bucks. Like the Bucks didn't need to go over. Like I know that's an argument too. Like they're like, well, Gunter didn't need that rub. Like well, the Bucks didn't either. Like outside of WWE, like they're considered probably like one of the greatest tag teams that have yet to enter WWE. They probably never will go, but um, like it's just the way it is. I don't think they needed that rub, and like no new stars were built out of that Sting retirement tournament, and I think that's where like the difference in like bookings between Tony Khan and Triple H. Like Tony Khan is a fan, like he's a wrestling fan at heart. He's like us, so he's always gonna want to like send the fans home happy.
Service those, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I because I always see rumors that Sting didn't want to win like that last match, but Tony wanted him to win, and so did the Bucks and stuff like that. So I mean, it is what it is. And now looking at Cena, like we can think, well, Gunther didn't need the rub. Like what does he do to Gunther? Like Gunther automatically just became like the number one most hated man in WWE. I think he surpassed. He just jumped over Dom. Um,
Yeah, I think he jumped over Logan Paul.
yeah, like he just like I mean, people. I wouldn't say people hated him, but I don't think people like really cared about him or like he was just kind of there, like oh, it's Gunther, like kind of like whatever. But now, like those boos tonight were pretty loud, and so I mean, even the stuff that he said, like he was saying, like, he made John Cena tap out like a little bitch and stuff like that. He was yelling with that kid on Saturday's Main Event, getting into it with that little kid.
That was
Um,
hilarious.
he got into it with Tozawa and Otis, which I honestly thought he was probably gonna slap the hell out of Tozawa for a second. Um, got into a little scuffle, well, not scuffle, but with Ron when Ron Killings, our truth. Um, and then he got into it with AJ Styles, and that one was like Jesus. Um, he told, AJ Styles, you can't see him and stuff like that. So like, yeah, like Gunther automatically like just became like a hot heel. And obviously it's too soon. We can't like say like, oh, like Gunther's already like this was the plan or it's everything like John Cena like losing him has already worked out. Like we still have a long way to go to see where they're gonna take Gunther and stuff like that. But I don't know. I mean, obviously I like I said, from the business how business is done, but then I also get like this whole like that's obviously an old school mentality that and when you leave, like that's an old school mentality. But like at the same time, like WWE is doing like so many new things. Like I don't understand why they can't just like switch, like
Yeah.
get that automatically out of your head. Like, oh, if you're leaving or if your contract's expiring or blah blah blah, like you're just gonna lose. Like obviously, like they do all this stuff with Unreal, like we get backstage access. Um, there's fucking advertisements like all over the goddamn ring and on the weapons and stuff like that. So obviously, this is not the WWE from back in the day. So I don't know why there's still some stuff that still stays like sacred, I guess, when it comes to stuff like that. So that doesn't a little bit make sense, but I get it. But um, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on that.
Yeah, and you bring up an interesting point. I saw this tweet here, and I'm glad I was able to find it. I meant to bookmark it, but I didn't get to save it here. Was all WWE wrestlers who won their retirement match and final match. I say retirement match in quotation marks, 'cause some of these wrestlers technically didn't have like a true retirement match, but it had Undertaker because he won his
Yeah,
Boneyard match against AJ Styles, Stone Cold, if you want to count his Kevin Owens match at
it's
WrestleMania
Kevin Owens.
as
Okay,
that
yeah.
match, Bret Hart and Triple H. Triple H fought Batista at WrestleMania, and that was technically his last match before he had his crazy his health condition. um so I know that's, and it kind of leads to that point here that we've only technically really seen 4 wrestlers really leave off or quote unquote retire and then go off and win their matches. 'Cause a lot of the wrestlers that we're talking about last pod, like they had their retirement match in WWE, but then they went off and went different things. Like we talked about, obviously the 2 big ones are Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan. Ric Flair went off to TNA, and he had his his crazy ass match a couple of years ago. Same thing with Hulk Hogan. I don't think he really had I honestly cannot tell you his last match. Probably should have researched that before I came on here, so I had that note for us. But I know there was a callback because I was not saying I was confused by it. I understood what they were doing with John Cena giving with CM Punk and Cody giving the 2 belts while the crowd was fucking booing everybody. That Hulk Hogan did that. I believe John Cena and
Yeah,
Batista did that.
yeah.
So I think they said that was like a callback for him to do that. I
I
don't
didn't
know.
I didn't catch it, like, in that moment, but I saw the
Yeah,
clip on Twitter, and I was like,
yeah.
"Oh, okay." I get it.
Yeah, I didn't catch it in that moment. But I probably saw the same clip. I saw the same
Yeah,
post on
probably.
Twitter. That were kind of referencing. I was like, oh, like okay, I guess that's that nice little gesture there. But yeah, I think one point there that I do want to key in before we talk about some other key things here was like, yeah, I think what made the moment hard and enjoyable was the booze for sure. Um, and I don't know, man. Triple H, I don't know if it gets to him or not. I really can't tell with this dude. Like
I think he low
he's
key
obviously very in keen with the
he low
internet.
key, I think, like, plays into it. Like, I know there was that whole thing, like, people were flicking him off on the pre-show on the
The post show.
post show, and they're like, "Oh, we got a lot of Bloodline fans up in here," and I'm like, "Dude, it's just yeah,
And then
yeah,
when he came up there, I was like, "Oh, I thought I'm a little disappointed. I thought y'all would have been louder."
yeah,
So I was like, he knows, and obviously, and he's not an idiot. Like he talked about all this stuff online. He's one of the more like in tune internet personnels. So he's not an
dude."
idiot.
He needs to like he needs to come back as a character. I think he needs to pull like a Vince McMahon kind of thing where like the whole situation with the Montreal school job, like he needs to come out and like
You bring up an interesting point because there everybody was always saying like when they did the John Cena in the TD Garden, like they were always saying like, oh, like Triple H didn't need to do that, like he didn't need to be a part of that. So if he really wanted to, like everybody keeps saying like Triple H has an ego, does he or not? I don't know. But time will tell. Speaking of Vince McMahon, was crazy to see him again
yeah,
on the
that
video
was
board.
pretty
I believe
wild.
that's the first time that we've seen good old Vinnie Mac. I don't want to say good old Vinnie Mac. I'm probably gonna get crucified for saying that,
How you doing, Vinny?
but yeah, very interesting to see Vince McMahon cut it back in the fold there. And it's I don't want to say it's weird because John Cena has talked about their relationship with Vince McMahon. Like I think
Yeah,
that's the part that got him emotional. He like wiped like he was like rubbing
yeah.
his eyes. Obviously Vince McMahon's not gonna be there in attendance for. I can't believe somebody freaking reported that. I'm like, dude, it doesn't take a freaking genius to figure out he wasn't gonna be there. Like let's read the freaking room. Come on now. But yeah, I don't know with Triple H. That's a very interesting point there that you do bring up because I think that honestly would be kind of very interesting to see. But going back to it, I think that's what kind of made the moment enjoyable, just because we had the mix in the booze and things like that, and obviously we had to leave in as a sneakers, the headband. Gonna be curious to see what they do with that, if that goes into like a Hall of Fame type thing, or freaking Fanatics get a hold of that and put a piece of sneaker in a in a trading card, or
Like according to Jay
one
Uso,
of
those were
one.
some raggedy ass sneakers. So
Man, that man was too many libations for that dude, man. You could
I
just
know he
absolutely
he even came out with the MFT, dude. I'm like, dude, come on.
so yeah, that man had too many libations there. I think one also interesting shot was the Cody aspect of it as well. Like he was like the last one there. He stayed there for, I think, for a hot minute. Then Jackie Redmond went up to him and tried getting a little bit of an interview with him. Man, she's a pro too. Like, she knows how to like read the room and recognizes when things are really like hitting at a certain
Yeah,
level, and a real aspects of the fact that she recognized, like, Cody was really taking a little bit more, I don't want to say more harder than most other individuals, but kind of just recognizing the impact that Cena's had. And I think it's finally, I don't want to say, I obviously I can't speak for Cody. I don't know him personally, but like, I think it's finally like we're now in that era where,
we're in the
because John
post
Cena
John
was, oh
Cena.
yeah, post John Cena, exactly. Like, he could always come back here and there. Like, he always come and do this if you really needed help. But like, he's not here anymore. Like, he's gone. Like, he's not gone. Again, kind of goes back to the mourning thing again. I feel like we're mourning him. He's still alive. He's still going to be around. We'll still see him on Peacemaker. We'll probably still see the ambassador role. If he's going to be saved for the Hall of Fame, who knows? But yeah, it just kind of goes back to that as well. And then kind of, I guess, it'll be a perfect lead way and transition to Gunther as far as that. But yeah, I think the the victory kind of shows that here. And it was a conversation I was having with Mrs. Moon 3PO here. She was asking, like, why did they pick him? Like, why him? I was like, this is like the reason why. I was like, because like, if you had a baby face in that position, like, I'm pretty sure that baby face wins, that baby face is gonna get booed. If it's a Carmelo Hayes, if it's a LA9, if it's a Javon Evans, whoever that you may have wanted to win this tournament, like, maybe they're not being praised as much. Um, so kind of just seeing it here, like, today was a true reason why the Triple H put him over. And I told her the same thing. Like, in this day and age of wrestling, like, it's hard to create a true heel.
Heel.
Like,
Yeah.
people hate Logan Paul. People hate Logan Paul for different reasons. Like, people don't hate Logan Paul because he's like bad at wrestling or a true bad guy. Like, people hate him for other reasons. Don't get me wrong; those reasons are definitely warranted. But those people hate him for different reasons. Like, people just straight up hate Gunther because he's a freaking bad guy. Like, he made our hero, everybody else's hero, tap out and give up, essentially, and quote unquote give up. And like, even I was showing, I showed the wife yesterday. I'm pretty sure you maybe saw the same video. Like, the dude had to get escorted out of the building
Yeah, I
yesterday,
saw the
or
video. Yeah.
Saturday night. I was like, man, like, when's the last time that we seen something like this? It's very, very rare in this day of age, to get natural born heat for what you're doing in the ring, not what you're doing outside the ring, which, like, you can say that about Logan Paul, things like that. So I think this was a perfect promo, needed to kind of did what it was supposed to do. Kind of reminds me of the Roman Reigns one that they did when he did against Undertaker, when he beat at WrestleMania, was getting booed out the building, and he's like, "This is my yard now." Just freaking just throw the mic. Granted, at that time they should have turned him heel. They freaking didn't. But yeah, kind of just going around praising it, back and forth in the ring like 3-4 times. Said like, "Oh, like, I made John Cena top like a little bitch," and obviously, like you mentioned there, and kind of having the backstage conversations and interactions there. I was like, man, it'll be interesting to see, because I don't know if they'll keep up with this retirement killer type thing, career killer type thing. But man, it raises a question now with AJ Styles too, man. Like, he's talked about like his years up next year. Like, is that maybe AJ Styles' last match? I mean, it's too early to tell. I think obviously some people I personally, me being like, I would love to see Finn Balor run it back, Finn Bullet Club, all that stuff. That they mentioned that maybe it's Nakamura. But man, Gunther, man, like, if that's like parallels and storytelling, I don't know if they've ever wrestled. Did they wrestle for the IC title? I don't know if they did. I'm trying to think.
I want to say no because AJ's been on SmackDown this whole time, right?
Right? That's what I'm saying. He was out for a little bit
Or
and then he was on SmackDown, right?
AJ was on SmackDown, I think, majority of the time that when Gunther was IC champion, I think.
Right? And then when
Yeah.
he was on, yeah. So I was like, I don't think they've had an official match. So like, is AJ Styles that in the cards? So yeah, it'll be very, very interesting to see where that all goes. But yeah,
I think somebody had
again,
left a comment on one of your videos or posts saying that Gunther's gonna probably be like the new legend killer. He's coming after
someone
everybody,
said
man. Yeah.
that. I probably
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean that's something that you could definitely run away with. But yeah, I think again, I think right now it's too early to tell. But it was this signifies why he went over. I just think now Triple H and the booking need to carry this over somehow.
Don't let
If
it be
it's
for nothing. Don't let it be
yeah,
for
don't
nothing.
let dude, please do not let this go for nothing. Like, do not have Gunther in a couple of months here tapping out Jey Uso again. If that is to freaking happen again, I will lose my goddamn mind.
I don't need another Austin Theory Money in the Bank cashing on the US title esque booking. That's what I mean by don't let this fail.
Yeah. Hey, please, yeah, please let this go to something here. Once CM Punk drafted with the Vision, if Braun Breaker goes over, whatever happens. But yeah, do not let this fizzle out. Keep this on. Keep your foot on the gas pedal and keep it moving. But as you mentioned, Austin Theory, we do get the final reveal here that Austin Theory is the mystery man, which we all pretend to be shocked here. Does everything that we freaking knew. I know they tried throwing it off here by using a different body last week. I think they said the rumor. I don't think I saw who it
I think
was
they said it was
confirmed.
Montez.
Was it Montez Ford?
Montez Ford. Yeah. Dude, at one point there was a little second where I was like, obviously I was looking at his eyes. I thought for a second it was Ricky Saints.
It did, yeah. Today, because like I don't know what it was. I think it was the head and like the hair.
Yeah, I
Like
don't know
really
what it
couldn't
was.
really. Yeah,
And I was like,
I
dude, is that
agree.
Ricky Saints? I
Yeah,
don't
no,
know.
I was in the same boat. Like, dude, like, did they really pull the trigger that early? I know the Ricky Saints is
The
still doing his
switcheroo.
stuff down with NXT with Javon Evans, the little heel turn, I guess if you want to call it that, costing Javon at NXT last Tuesday. But yeah, we get Austin Theory here as the reveal. Again, pretend to be shocked here, not surprised by it. It was everything that's being reported. New look as well, shaved head.
Shaved head.
Thought that was a nice little look here. It's always good when these kind of guys come back and they have a new look here. But yeah, I know we've kind of I don't think we've really talked about Austin Theory too much. I know we've really never been like in the I'm gonna say it right now. Like I've never been like a praise Austin Theory fan. Like, oh, I love Austin Theory. Like glad he's getting his push, glad he's involved with this. I think it's honestly a lot of the Vince McMahon stuff that kind of turns me away from it because Vince McMahon was like pushing this dude to the freaking moon with the whole like selfie thing, the money in the bank, the freaking stupid golden egg thing. I don't know if you remember that, the stupid golden egg
Oh,
thing.
I remember.
Um, so I think maybe that's what kind of turns me away from him a little bit. And I could always go back to the Roman Reigns promo was your daddy's not here anymore. He's gone. Like you always kind of go
Yeah.
back to that. So I think that's always what's kind of turned me away from him. And obviously in the post Vince McMahon era, like Triple H really didn't do anything with him. Like, yes, he won the tag team title with Grayson Waller, but they didn't really have like a really good, lengthy or very good reign. Obviously Grayson Waller's not doing himself with the New Day, which that's been surprisingly pretty well, but and kind of left Austin Theory kind of in limbo here, kind of, not obviously not doing anything, being on shelf for, X amount of months here. But I will say I am excited for it. I am willing to give it a shot. I'm willing to give this new era of Austin Theory a shot here, this new persona, if you want to call it here, kind of see like where he's fitting with the Vision, because the way they kind of played it here is like they didn't know it was him. And like even like kind of Logan Paul today too, it's kind of like standoffish, like kind of like, are you with like what are you doing? And kind of just going off to the crowd again. Like I feel like if you're gonna align yourself with a group, you're kind of gonna do what Braun Breaker did on the post WrestleMania, where you attack somebody and then you rejoice with your leader at quote unquote at that time Seth Rollins. But he didn't do that. Like he just did the attack and dipped, and he's been dipping for the last like couple of weeks here. So I'm curious to see where the story goes. So again, hopefully it's one of the things where they can build on it, kind of drag. I don't want to say drag out the story, but make it make sense in a way, in a way, and kind of make it meaningful here and see where this goes. An Austin Theory, Logan Paul, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed. It's a very
So
interesting faction for the most part. It's new. It's refreshing.
yeah.
It's not repetitive. People always like to bitch and complain like, oh, it's the same shit over and over, same thing over and over. This is new. It's fresh, and I'm open to see where it goes.
Yeah. It is interesting. I hope this makes him, or I hope they book him better. I hope I honestly just hope it wasn't just put there to just take pins for the group. That's my fear. I like fear like he's like the Carlito of Judgment Day, stuff like that. Like or like how JD McDonough used to be at one point, like he was like the pin eater for the group. So I hope that's not the case. But like I said, I'm intrigued. It's something different. Uh, yeah, I don't know where we're gonna go with this. It did look like a little bit more like evilish, I guess if you want to call it that. Um, at what I'm trying to think right now. At one point, was he ever aligned with Seth Rollins? He was doing the whole Messiah
Yes,
thing.
the
Okay,
COVID
so I
era.
mean, I maybe they'll call back to that. So I don't know. That'd be a nice little callback to that. But yeah, I mean, I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see where this goes because I have no clue where they're going.
Yeah,
Besides the
and
whole match between Braun and Punk, which I don't know, man. I have a feeling they're gonna put the belt on freaking Braun.
yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes. It's like, do you put the belt on Braun and then let Punk win the Rumble, and either go after back Braun or go after Cody? Do you do that? I think also what kind of plays into that is a Seth Rollins storyline. Like, where is he at in his recovery? Like, is he in the WrestleMania plans? Is he not in the WrestleMania plans?
From
Because I
interviews
mean,
he did, he said that it was close to WrestleMania.
in a
So
perfect world, I as a CM Punk homer that I am, as we are, like, I wouldn't mind him dropping the belt to Braun, have Braun take the belt to WrestleMania, whoever wins the Rumble, do whatever, like, do Braun and Seth potentially, have CM Punk win the Royal Rumble, go after Cody for the undisputed title. Boom, there's your main event night 2. Me being the hypocrite that I am, I want to see it night 1 just so I can see him at WrestleMania. Will that happen? I don't know. So you could definitely run that. That's definitely one way you can go here. But yeah, I wouldn't be mad at a Braun kind of putting your setting the tone right for the new year, because it is their first episode of 2026 episode of Netflix, like they always promoted here. 1 year on Netflix, I guess, is what they're promoting as well. So I mean, if you want to make a big splash, make a big impact, and kind of want to again showcase, like, all right, this is our guy, this is who we trust, and this is what we're gonna build. See if he can sink and or swim. Let it ride. I think he'll definitely swim for sure, and he's showing that here in this program for sure. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't be mad about it at all. But yeah, that was really it. Solid Monday Night Raw episode. Again, new followed up for sure. I know, again, they were throwing it's a new era of Monday Night Raw. They say that like every freaking week. Didn't really feel like a new a new era, I guess. I mean, if you want to go, if you want to hit back to the faction, you can. But I mean, it's again, missing with your PO. She watched Raw with me today. She's like, so he's just gone. Like, Cena's just gone. I'm like, yep, he's gone. And that's kind of what Cena said too.
Wow.
That's what Cena said too. Is like, yeah, they're gonna move on without me. Like they're gonna show goes on, and it definitely does. And I think that's what I love about wrestling, right? Like, there's a superstar doesn't retire from a sport and then you go into an off season, so you can kind of mourn that. It's all right, you're retired and you got Monday Night Raw the next day, or you got Monday Night Raw this Monday, you got NXT Tuesday, you got Friday Night SmackDown Friday, which I believe they're doing tapings for the rest of the week, for the rest of the 2 weeks for the holiday
That's
season,
what I
I
heard
believe.
too. Yeah, that's what I heard
So
too.
there'll probably be some spoilers on the internet here, so time will tell. With all that, excuse me there. But yeah, I don't think we missed anything else on Monday Night Raw, did we? I think there was for
No,
Usos
Usos
going
are
over
back.
here.
That match had way too many
Surprisingly,
goddamn commercials. For the love of God, clean it up,
yeah,
Netflix.
that's an VPN.
Yeah, it didn't work. We got the return of Nikki Bella. She's alive and well. From people thought she was murdered last week.
Could care less.
Maxine looked good again
Oh
today.
yeah,
That's
Maxine.
hyping
Yeah, I
up.
was worried about that
Yeah.
a little bit. Not gonna lie, 'cause I think a lot of it goes to Becky Lynch and what she can do. But she did look very well. I think what we've missed in the Becky Lynch stuff was, like, we really didn't see the influence of Natty. So we saw, like, the more of the aggressive side, the facial expressions as well,
Mhm.
kind of get to that more aggressive side. So that was a nice little touch there. So yeah, it was nice
No,
to
they
see
even did
Maxine.
that. They had that nice little camera shot on her, like when she did the kip up and like the camera just like zoomed in her face and
Yeah,
stuff like that. And she even did the straps, like when she was hanging upside down from the turnbuckle.
yeah.
So yeah, that was a pretty good
Is
showing from
Natty
her.
just not gonna show up? Like, what? Like, is she just like gonna be in the
I
back?
heard
Just like
I think she's coming back as like her not Natalia, but what does she go
the
by?
Natty
Natty
Neidhart
Natty her. I think
from the Bloodsport.
that's the rumbling that she's gonna come back like that, which that would be
She
cool
needs to.
because
That'd be cool. She
yeah,
her Bloodsport stuff
yeah,
is pretty good.
she needs to. That whole yeah, every time I just like from the whole back in the day, like just every time I saw Natalia, I was like, oh, that's an automatic loss right then and there. So yeah, I think that needs to change, but hopefully that is
The
it.
video packages are nice. They really are well produced too.
Yeah, those handles are crazy.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I was like, she's just not gonna show up. She's gonna be training her in the back, and that's it.
Yeah,
At the dungeon, I guess I'd say.
yeah. I think that's pretty much we hit everything. JD McDonough's hurt. He's
Yeah,
gonna be out for a while. Finn was not there, so it was just Dom, Liv, and Roxanne. Which I don't know where they're going with that. So
Yeah,
uh,
that's a an interesting one there with
yeah,
them too. I thought they would have imploded by now, but I guess again a slow burner, I guess you could say.
yep.
Because obviously when Liv was there, before her injury, like there was already the tension between them, and now they're like buddy buddy, and like
Now
Liv
going for the tag team titles. Yeah,
going for the tag team titles. Liv even helped Roxanne get the win over Bailey last week. So yeah, time will tell on that. We got we got the Kabuki Wars interrupting Rhea and Io. We had that again. The freaking Green Mist. Always love seeing Green Mist. Never gets
yeah.
tired. Never gets tired of
Shout
seeing.
out to Jerry, man. Shout out to Jerry.
Shout in the mouth. Shout out to
Oh,
Jerry.
oh.
Dude, he popped up on my TikTok feed the other day randomly. It was a
Dude, the WWE Vault uploaded like a whole compilation of Tajiri matches. I was like, what the heck?
did they just recently upload that?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh god, I know what
He
I
got
watched
to me
every
to the
part of
Hall of
it.
Fame this year, man. 2026 Hall of Fame Tajiri.
Yeah, maybe that's why it popped up on my feeds.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody probably screenshotted it or something or like screen recorded and threw it on the feed because I saw it was a cruiserweight match between Rey Mysterio and Tajiri. I was like,
Mhm.
dude, what the like what's this doing on my feed? I watched the whole damn thing. I'm not gonna be mad about it, but I was like
Yeah.
every time you get to good old fashioned Green Mist, uh you don't hate it. But
Shout out to Jerry.
shout out to Jerry, man. Shout him out.
Get him on the pod.
Get him on the pod. Oh yeah, we had Logan Paul. Obviously, we talked about Logan Paul going over Rey Mysterio. What?
Back to back matches on Raw.
Yeah, back to
Logan
back.
Paul.
Yeah. I was about to say if he's. I know his whole thing. I think I don't know if it's been part of like his character work or whatever. Like always saying like I'm full time and things like that. Like if you want to be considered full time and be considered as a true wrestler, I know he's always saying like in his vlogs and whatever in the promos, like you need to wrestle more. Like you just can't wrestle on the main PLE. So yeah, back to back main Monday Night Raw episodes are actually wrestling. Like, like we'll take that. So I mean,
Yeah.
and I think that's always been like the stigma against Logan Paul, right? It was like, oh, like he's just here for whatever. And like I think that was obviously for his US title reign as well. Like he won the US title, I think defended it like what, like 3 times in his 300 plus reign, like pulled it basically like a freaking Dean Ambrose back then, where he just won the belt and just never defended it. So I mean, yeah, I don't hate it. And again, I've been in the rare camp that I've liked Logan Paul. Again, if you hate him, it's definitely warranted. But I've always been in the camp where I get the in-ring work, I get the person stuff, I get it. It's warranted for sure. But I can recognize good in-ring work for sure. So yeah, it's always good to have a Logan Paul wrestling back to back, and dude doesn't have a bad match. I can't name you. Grant, it's only been like what 10 plus matches, maybe give or take. That's on the maybe that's me being a little bit generous, but there's not a bad Logan Paul match for sure. Even his stuff with John Cena during the retirement match here. I think people want to hate that match so bad, but they can't because it's one of John Cena's better retirement tour matches there. But yeah, that was Monday Night Raw. Again, very solid episode. Well, obviously this is on Wednesday, so we can't react to NXT on Tuesday. And then obviously Friday Night SmackDown, we'll see how that goes. SmackDown has been you can make the argument.
Going back to 3 hours, man.
Has been confirmed, right? It's going back to 3 hours.
Yeah.
Starting when next year?
Yeah.
Ugh.
I think it might be that January, probably that first week, probably, or that second week. I think the week of that Monday Night Raw, the January 5th episode. So whatever that Friday is, I think that's the first day.
Man, that's gonna be tough.
They need to call up those people now. It seems like I don't know. It looks like Javon's getting called up. I don't know.
Oh yeah, he had the backstage with Ludwig and all those guys.
Yeah.
Which Chad Gable is not getting back that persona. I'm sorry. It's Ludwig's. Like, I love Chad Gable. I love what he did with it. But man, he's not getting that.
I need to look into more of like the Mexican style of, not Mexican style of wrestling, but like their promos. Because I feel like he leans into like a little bit too much of the slang. Like he's like, no mom his way, like everything like that. Like that's slang. And I feel like he says it too much to the point where it's like, all right, you're kind of overkilling. But I don't know if that's how they cut promos down in like AAA or even CML. Like I don't watch that stuff, so I'm kind of curious to like kind of maybe look into it, or if he's just like going a little bit above. And I was telling the wifey about it too, and yeah, like every time he says way, like I don't know how many times. I think I saw a TikTok. He was doing like a cookout with Angel and Berto. and he
Mhm.
was like drinking beers, but he was saying like a lot of slang like that, and it was just like I have to look for it and send it to you, but I don't know. But other than that, yeah, I mean the dude's just that dude's on a he's Chad Gable's not getting that back.
Yeah, Chad Gable. Chad Gable's not getting that back here. Maybe do a 6-man tag with Chad Gable and the Creed brothers as Americanos, and have Ludwig
Ooh,
and
Lord.
Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate as the Americanos. I would not be surprised if that's something that this recent creative cooks up here in the battle of the Americanos, I guess you could say. But yeah, Chad Gable's like that's why I was when Finance came out, I was really hoping when we saw El Grande Americano was getting cards, as I was really hoping it was Ludwig, because I prefer Ludwig over Chad Gable, but I think it's the overall like the name itself that still drives the market a little bit. But the fact that it's Chad Gable in there, I'm like, oh, like I really want to get a Chad
Yeah.
Gable card. I think if it was Ludwig, I think it'll be a little bit more driven into that there. But speaking of some cards here, don't have anything as much as too new to talk about, but we do got a release date for Topps Universe. If you don't follow me over on the other social platform, that being TikTok, YouTube, or Instagram, I post my short form content there where I do daily wrestling card content. We got Topps Universe officially being announced here. A new date. We got December 22nd. So that's going to put us at next Monday. So if you got that WWE fan collector, that WWE trading card collector, you want to get them a late Christmas gift, this may be the set for you. We don't have, again, not too much to talk about as far as that. We kind of talked about it before on last episode because we did get some previews. We did get some, a little bit more sneak peeks of the set itself. So nothing too much to talk about as far as that. We still don't got a checklist. We still don't have, a price point. We don't know if it's going to be EQL. I'm pretty sure it's going to be EQL. I would assume so. I'm really hoping for a $150 to $200 range box. That's fingers crossed, is because there are some base cards are going to be mixed in here and they don't seem to be numbered. So that's my price point. I know NT was numbered, like every base card in National Treasures was numbered. So I don't think we're getting that in universe. Again, I could be wrong. This is me just guessing and referencing to things that I've seen on the internet. But yeah, time will tell on that. But we do got an official release date for Universe, December 22nd, next Monday. We don't have any times. Again, I would highly, highly recommend, if you are looking to keep up to date with that, follow me over on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, wherever you get your content from. I'm more than likely there, just because, again, I do daily uploads. So if we get something here, I will be covering here. But man, like, again, kind of going back here, we've had what, 4 releases this year, not including the Bape and the Cactus Jack stuff. That's absolutely insane. Hopefully next year we get something cooking. We'll start off big with royalty if that's going to be the set. Man, I looked at it what Topps released today. How is there not a WWE set mixed in today? And it's just a ramble session as far as now. Like, they released this whole thing this week. U.S. Olympics, UCC Club, Top Cosmic Chrome Baseball, which $350 for that price for 4 cards, 20 pack. That's absolutely freaking insane. Shout out to Cardboard Dugout.
Shout him
We got
out.
20, shout him out. We got
Put him on the pod.
2025 Topps Heritage high number, which that's only $100. Heritage always been kind of cheap here. Got Topps Chrome Basketball. Oh wait, we didn't talk about this. I forgot. We didn't talk about the first off the line stuff. I guess we'll talk about that here a little bit, because Topps Chrome introduced the Dutch auctions, which we'll talk about that a little bit. Topps Chrome Basketball, that's coming out. And then we got 2025 Topps Definitive UCC. We got 2 soccer releases this week. I'm not
Shout
trying
him
to
out.
shit on soccer, but I mean,
Shout
hey,
out. Shout him out. Shout him out.
but yeah, it just hit me here. I failed to talk about this last week, but if you guys are not aware, Topps Chrome Basketball, they did a Dutch auction. So if you're not familiar with what a Dutch auction is, basically they release all these products, or not release all these products, but they release a product. It's called first off the line. That's the way that Topps is doing it. Back in the day, where Panini, I believe, was called undercard, or first off the line, is what they used to kind of call it there. But anyways, basically what Dutch auction is Topps gets a certain amount of product, and it has like certain parallels, certain numbers, certain autographs, kind of like a Breaker Delight type box. And basically Topps will start the price at a certain price point. I believe Topps Chrome Basketball started at $3,500, and whoever's willing to pay that price and bid on that price, they will go allocated to that person. And then from there, it just continuously drops in price until the product sells out. So that is their first off the line product. That's why they're doing it for Chrome Basketball. If you guys again follow my short form content, Topps Universe is going to have that, as or Topps Exalted is going to have that little stamp that we saw on the CM Punk first off the line. We saw the Miz talk about that. Those are what those are going to be. So don't know what that's going to hold for the future of Topps cards for sure moving forward, but it's something to keep an eye on here. I wanted to mention that here on the pod. Forgot to mention that last week. I knew there was something I was forgetting there. It was bugging the hell out of me. But yeah, first off the line, we are getting it here. Again, it's going to be very, very exclusive to those who have the price point to pay that kind. I don't know what the price point is going to be. Um, Panini did it with like Select and Prism. So I'm going to be curious to see that. But yeah, Topps is bringing that here into the WWE trading card market as well. So moving forward. So I'm pretty sure next year, because we have had, I highly doubt they're going to do Universe and then Exalted back to back. I'm pretty sure it'll be Universe. I would assume Exalted because they've been signing that for a hot minute, and then head off to Royalty in the middle of the summer. I would think. I don't know. I could be wrong. Time will tell on that. But yeah, wanted to mention that here as well. But yeah, that's all I have here on my end as far as of card talk. Again, not too much to write home about. If we do get some universe talk, I'll have some short form content on that. So again, go check that out here. I don't think we'll have another pod out before Monday unless something dramatic wants to freaking happen. We'll maybe talk about it here, but we'll kind of play it by year when it comes to that. But yeah, bro, P, I'll throw it over to you. Any final thoughts here before we officially wrap things up here for the good old listeners of collecting the 1, 2, 3?
Yeah, hopefully the pre-order for next Monday still stands. Topps likes to cancel these WWE pre-order releases for some odd reason. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know why I kind of feel like sometimes like they just don't like devote enough like time and attention or energy to like WWE products. Like I don't know what it is about it that they just if I feel like they wanted to take away the IP from Panini, honestly. Like at some point, like I don't know. Maybe that's a story for another day. Um, let's see what else do I got. Some other like hobby news. PSA's parent brand bought out or is gonna buy out Beckett. So there is another grading company that is going to be under the PSA umbrella. I know there was a little bit of uproar in that too because Beckett was always at one point was seen as like as a higher price point slab than PSA.
Yeah.
Um, Stuff started happening quality wise, turnaround time wise, all that stuff. PSA kind of took over from there. Um, and now PSA is going to be observing them, although they say it's going to be a standalone company, whatever the hell that means. They said the same thing about CGC, where it's going to be a standalone, and all of a sudden they start like pulling employees from there, and now it's a boutique slab. So who knows what's going to happen there? So I think all that's left out there is what like CGC probably the last big, really big one.
CGC
Tag is just Pokemon, so I don't even want to hear about Tag.
tag. Yeah.
Um,
I, I
so
I have
yeah,
a rant about that. People always say about tag and like, oh, dude, tag, it's AI grading. It's like you can't beat the technology. People, I don't think it's a hot take here. People don't care about the accuracy of grades. They
they
really
don't.
don't. You
All they
just
care
want the
about
freak.
is the
You just
10.
you just want the freaking 10.
Yeah,
If people so much cared about the quality of cards, your grading of your card, or like securing the overall like the condition of the card, tag would be ways above than what it is now. The only entries we're getting is like you mentioned there, the TCG market. There's a reason why sports has not transitioned to there. I can't really speak on it, but if people so cared about their quality of the cards and wanting, and that's what fucking bugs me about PSA. Like when I got back into the hobby, like I was influenced by the grading stuff, like from people that I was speaking to, like gotta get into grading that. I've gone out of it. I just think it's I want to say it's a scam. I don't know. That's kind of maybe another pod for another day.
yeah. Until
But
the whole shtick of like it's basically like a PSA 10 or bust. Like until that's over, and who knows if that ever is going to change or like at one point if that ever is going to change. It's I think it's just always going to be like that. People don't care about like I don't want to say they don't care about the card, but they care more about the 10 than they
the
do the
10,
actual card. Like
yeah.
that's and I don't think that's good for the hobby in a sense. But I mean, it is what it is. Like I think I don't know. I think I told you the story off the camera about a certain employee at a certain card shop who basically was telling these people like, "That's
Yeah,
basically a PSA 10 or it's a bust, bro." And I'm like,
yeah.
"Yeah, that's," and it's he was selling it to a little kid. I'm like, "Dude, that is such bad." Like, oh yeah. Anyways, that was not my place to step in, but anyways, um, that's my rant for the day. Other than that, again, I'm running buy one get one free on eBay, my eBay store. Help me clear out this stuff, bro. Just piling up. Look at all this. Look at all this. Come on, just piling up. Oh, shout out
I'll
to
probably
the.
get it.
Oh, I'm probably gonna get fickled for this, but I got a little. I heard me talking about this last time. I wasn't too fond of it, but these do look pretty cool in person. But
These are if for
catch a
the
little baby
YouTube watchers.
Milo.
I got the CM Punk and the white camo in the case there. But yeah, taking it out. Yeah, these cards again. We talked about it. The baby Milo, the babe stuff. I do not quote me on the history. I don't know what a baby Milo is. I know it's an ape, which I've had my fear of apes in real life, so that's very fitting. But yeah, like my ring light here is an effect that you kind of see it here. But yeah, the overall quality of these cards are very, very good. The matte finish on it too is very different. Again, kind of going away from the chrome stuff. And the thickness of it, like it's a pretty thick card. That's why when I got the cards in today, I was like, man, they put it in a 55 point top loader. I
Yeah,
was like, man, what the hell is going on? And very fitting again for the YouTube viewers here. We got Gunther here on a very, very fitting for timely of that one there. And of course, I got the CM Punk on the white camo again. I was only really going to collect CM Punk for the FF4 gear, but yeah, these are really, really cool. So if you can find these, I know a bunch of people are doing breaks. I joined a couple of them. Shout out to Fanatics for sending me some credit. Joined a
shout
couple
him
of
out.
breaks there. Shout them out. I know they gave me some credit. I wasn't joining any breaks for a hot minute, so they gave the good old "we miss you." Here's $25 in credit. So got that head in my hit the email the other day. Like, hey, why the heck now? Let's find some Bape uh, uh, breaks there. So got a couple of base cards coming my way as well, which these will be available, except for my CM Punk here, will be available for upcoming Whatnot streams. So if you guys want the opportunity to get some Bape cards here, yeah, it will be available for a future Whatnot stream, which is a perfect segue here. Um, I don't have official confirmation yet. So again, make sure you are staying tuned to the other social. I'm heavily promoting here because again, that's where I promote a lot of my stuff for good reason. A lot of my followings over there. But if you guys are familiar, if you guys also listened to the last episode or maybe skip through, I don't know. I mentioned towards the end of the episode, I did have a little bit of an announcement. Couldn't talk too much about it because we're kind of still working out some of the kinks here, and obviously had to confirm some things here. But I am gonna be collabing and having a little bit of promotion with Hit Parade. If you're not familiar with Hit Parade is a repacking company. They specifically have a wrestling repack, which they were kind enough to help me, and we're kind of going to collab on a little bit of a promotion here for one of their repacks. I'm really, really excited for it. Again, I'm gonna, have a final video on it confirming it. But you guys, again, if you listen to the pod, you're kind of getting first sneak peeks here. The idea that I have is they are gonna be giving us a box here, and we're gonna be able to do it on a Whatnot stream. So for a future Whatnot stream, we are gonna be doing a buyer's appreciation where I'm gonna have about hopefully shooting to 100 singles of wrestling cards. If you buy one of these wrestling cards, if it's $1, $2, or buy anything from the showcase, you will be entered in the buyer appreciation, which then that will give you the opportunity to get this Hit Parade repack for absolutely free. The details of the repack here is it is a floor of $25 and the ceiling is $450. You can some of the hits here that we can or that we're going to be looking for is a Hulk Hogan out of 50 autograph. We're also going to be looking for a John Cena color wheel PSA 10 gem mint. And then we're also going to be looking for this is for you, Bropio, Alexa Bliss premium memorabilia autograph patch auto book end. Those are just some of the key hits. And again, there's other superstars that you can find, like Brock Lesnar, like Braun Breaker, Asuka, Dominic Mysterio. Again, we highlighted John Cena, Kevin Owens, LA Knight, Liv Morgan, Nikki Bella, Rey Mysterio, Randy Orton, Rhea Ripley, Roman Reigns, you name them, they're in the set here. So the idea that we have right now, again, Mr. Promotion will be once I get the box here and get some more confirmation that we will be doing a buyer appreciation for a future Whatnot stream as like a little holiday special holiday giveaway. So if you're not following me over on Whatnot, make sure you do follow me on Whatnot. Again, all the links are going to be down in the description down below. So for free to check that out, give us a follow. I'll also have Bro Peel's eBay store. So you want to go take advantage of his sale, buy one, get one free. Come on, guys. Buy one, get one free. Who doesn't like free stuff? Buy $1 card, get $1 card for free. Buy a $2 card, get $1 card for free, whatever, etc., etc. It's all going to be down in the description down below if you're listening on YouTube, Apple, or Spotify. The links are clickable on Apple and Spotify. You can't click on the link. So if you're listening on there, they are clickable. So you can go there and it'll take you directly to those links. So go check out those links there. And again, follow us everywhere at Moon3PO. You can follow Bro PO here at Daddy Collects over on Twitter and Instagram and on TikTok. And again, you can follow me everywhere at Moon3PO. And again, highly advocate you go follow us over there so you are keeping tuned there with all the announcements and socials that we're doing. I do appreciate you guys listening and tuning in wherever you are listening. YouTube, y'all been killing it. TikTok, we've been killing it. Instagram is getting the following there, so I'm really thankful for all the follows there. But yeah, guys, that is all we have here on my end. You will potentially see us next week. Again, keep it up with us on the socials so you know what's going on. But yeah, that is what I have here on my end. I really do appreciate you guys listening, following, subscribing, and we will see y'all in the next one.